I wanted to start briefly with a story. In 2012, when I was still at Bloomberg, Sandy Fruscia, who's sitting there in a pink shirt to my left, came to me and said, Nandini, you really need to care about the sustainability issue and the exchange role in it. And I'd never heard of the subject in more than a decade of covering the industry, so I just kind of shook my head and said, let's talk about something else. In 2014, I moved to the WFE, just as we had started our own sustainability working group, one of only two at the WFE at the time. The other was cybersecurity, to give you a sense of our priorities. And now we are in 2018, and I look back and forward. I look back to how far we have traveled. We published our exchange principles in Athens 2 weeks ago with the support of all of you, with the endorsement of UNCTAD and the Sustainable Stock Exchange Initiative. And I think how much further and with how much pleasure we will walk the road ahead. Sandy, of course, was right. You know, he was right about his grandchildren. He was right about what we needed to think about. He was ahead of his time and iconoclastic. And I look around the room today and I see so many of you. I see Robert Scharf, I see Nikki Newton-King, you know, who took leadership roles on this before anyone asked us to at an industry level. So thank you, and I think I would like to take just a moment to celebrate our shared commitment. Now, just going back to my final comments and to introduce the topic, earlier this month, we published the 5 WFE sustainability principles. We were delighted to welcome James as a speaker on that session. We discussed it at the board level, as you all recall. And they now are out in the public domain. We will discuss them at some length in the various sessions today as they weave in and out of our thinking on this issue. They constitute a formal declaration by the WFE and its membership to take on a leadership role in promoting the sustainable finance agenda. And they demonstrate, while recognizing that we are all at different stages of market development among the exchanges with different opportunities and constraints, we will all seek to promote the principles progressively in accordance with their circumstances and priorities as an industry. So, for those of you who don't have it, it lives on our website. It's a publicly available document. Please go out and print it out if you're interested. I know most of you in this room are familiar with it. We were very brief. We actually gave ourselves only 5 principles. 5 principles to live by. Principle 1, exchanges will work to educate participants in the exchange ecosystem about the importance of sustainability issues. Principle 2, exchanges will promote the enhanced availability of investor-relevant, decision-useful ESG information. Principle 3, exchanges will actively engage with stakeholders to advance the sustainable finance agenda. Principle 4, exchanges will provide markets and products to support the scaling up of sustainable finance and reorientation of financial flows. And Principle 5, exchanges will establish effective internal governance and operational processes and policies to support their sustainability efforts. So with that, I'm going to close my introduction, but really now just turn to the substance of this afternoon and call on our very many distinguished and committed speakers to provide us with their thoughts on the subjects. We've divided, the agenda is divided into 4 topics: securities regulation, market disclosure, financial products, and market education. They march for the most part with one or the other of the principles. We can all vote on which they march with. So let's start with topic 1, how security regulators can support the sustainable development goals. We've heard from Paul, and I'm delighted now to turn over to Mohammed Umran, who we've all known so well and so long. He is now executive chairman of the Financial Regulatory Authority in Egypt, a key part of the WFE Sustainability Working Group when he was chairman of EGX. And I'm going to ask you, Mohammed, to maybe get us started with a few words. For those of you who aren't aware, 16 markets now have mandatory ESG disclosure for all or some segment of the market. We have a new report which SSE has published. I think it's on all your desks. Take it home, read it, inwardly digest it. And with that, Mohammed, please take us forward.